Hello, my channel today say that in the glitzy, drama-soaked world of the bold and the beautiful, where love triangles, betrayals, and shocking plot twists reign supreme, few storylines have gripped audiences with such raw intensity as Luna's harrowing journey behind bars. Today, we dive deep into the emotional roller coaster surrounding Luna's pregnancy, her desperate bid for freedom, and the gut-wrenching question that has fans on the edge of their seats. Did Luna suffer a miscarriage in prison, or will her unborn child survive the chaos of her incarceration? Buckle up, because this tale is as dramatic as it is heart-shattering, filled with manipulation, violence, and a mother's fierce determination to protect her baby at all costs. The sterile, cold walls of the prison cell block are a far cry from the opulent Forrester Creations runways or the luxurious Spencer mansion where Luna once dreamed of a brighter future. Her life, once filled with ambition and hope, has spiraled into a nightmare of steel bars and flickering fluorescent lights. Pregnant and vulnerable, Luna finds herself at the mercy of a brutal prison environment where survival demands cunning, strength, and sacrifice. But nothing could have prepared her or the audience for the shocking turn of events that unfolded when Luna became the target of a fellow inmate's rage. It began with a chilling confrontation in the prison yard. A towering, hardened prisoner, known only as Big Red to the other inmates, cornered Luna during a rare moment of solitude. The air crackled with tension as Big Red's shadow loomed over Luna, her fists clenched and her eyes burning with malice. Luna, her hands instinctively cradling her slightly swollen belly, stood her ground, her heart pounding like a war drum. The other prisoners formed a loose circle, their whispers buzzing like a swarm of wasps, sensing the violence about to erupt. "Please," Luna's voice trembled, barely above a whisper, as she met Big Red's gaze. "You can do whatever you want to me, but don't touch my belly. Don't hurt my baby." Her plea hung in the air, fragile and desperate, a mother's primal instinct to protect her unborn child overriding her fear. Big Red smirked, her lips curling into a cruel sneer, but she no-date a silent agreement to spare Luna's pregnancy. Then, without warning, her fist connected with Luna's cheek, sending her staggering backward. The blows came fast and relentless, each one a thunderclap of pain that echoed through Luna's body. Her vision blurred, her knees buckled, but she clung to one thought: protect the baby. The attack left Luna bruised and battered, her face a canvas of purple and red, her spirit shaken but unbroken. Yet, this wasn't a random act of violence, it was part of a calculated, desperate plan. Luna, ever the strategist, had orchestrated this brutal encounter with a singular purpose: to prove to the prison authorities that she was in danger, that her life and her baby's life were at risk behind bars. She needed to escape the suffocating confines of her cell to breathe free air again, and she was willing to risk everything given her own body to make it happen. Luna's scheme was as bold as it was dangerous. She knew the prison system was a labyrinth of bureaucracy and indifference, but she also knew that a pregnant woman in peril could tug at even the most hardened heartstrings. Her goal was simple yet audacious: convince the prison doctor that her life was in imminent danger, forcing the authorities to reconsider her incarceration. If she could prove that the prison environment was unsafe for her and her unborn child, she might secure a transfer, a release, or at the very least, a chance to plead her case to someone with influence. After the attack, Luna was rushed to the prison infirmary, her face swollen and her body aching. The prison doctor, a stern woman named Dr. Kessler, examined her with clinical detachment. Luna's heart raced as she recounted the assault, her voice laced with just the right mix of fear and fragility. "I'm not safe here," she whispered, tears streaming down her bruised cheeks. "My baby isn't safe. Please, you have to help me, doctor." Kessler's expression remained unreadable, but Luna pressed on, her words a carefully rehearsed performance. "I need to speak to someone outside. Please, contact Will Spencer. He needs to know what's happening to me, to us." The mention of Will Spencer, the powerful and enigmatic heir to the Spencer Empire, was no accident. Luna knew that Will held the key to her freedom. Their history was complicated, a tangled web of love, betrayal, and unresolved emotions. Will had once cared for Luna deeply, but their relationship had crumbled under the weight of her actions that landed her in prison in the first place. Yet, Luna believed she could still sway him, that the news of her pregnancy and her dire circumstances would awaken his protective instincts. She was banking on his lingering feelings, however faint, to secure her release. To Luna's immense relief, Dr. Kessler agreed to contact Will. Days later, he arrived at the prison, his presence commanding and his expression unreadable. As Luna was led into the visitation room, her heart soared with hope. She wore her bruises like a badge of honor, her eyes wide and pleading as she faced him. "Will," she said softly, her voice breaking with emotion, "I'm so scared." "Not for me, but for our baby." She placed a trembling hand on her belly, drawing his gaze to the life growing inside her. "This place, it's going to kill us both if I stay here." Will's jaw tightened, his eyes narrowing as he studied her. "Luna," he said, his voice cold and measured, "I care about the baby. That's all. Don't think for a second that this changes anything between us." His words were a dagger to her heart, but Luna refused to let them break her. Deep down, she believed she still held sway over him. She had always been able to manipulate those around her, to bend them to her will with a combination of charm, vulnerability, and cunning. She leaned closer, her voice dropping to a conspiratorial whisper. "I know you, Will. You won't let anything happen to your child. You can't. Help me, and I'll make sure our baby is safe." Luna's confidence in her ability to manipulate Will was not unfounded. She had spent years honing her skills, navigating the cutthroat world of the bold and the beautiful with a blend of charisma and calculated deceit. In her mind, Will was just another piece on the chessboard, a pawn she could move with the right words and the right tears. She played the role of the damsel in distress to perfection, her every gesture designed to evoke sympathy and guilt. She spoke of the baby's future, of the dreams she had for their child, of the dangers lurking in every corner of the prison. "I made mistakes," Will, she admitted, her voice thick with remorse. "But this baby is innocent. Don't punish them for my sins." Yet, Will remained unmoved, his expression a mask of skepticism. He had seen Luna's manipulations before, had fallen for them once and paid the price. "You think you can play me again, Luna," he said, his tone laced with bitterness. "I'm here for the baby, not for you. Don't mistake my concern for weakness." With those words, he stood, signaling the end of their visit. As the guards escorted Luna back to her cell, her mind raced. Her plan had faltered, but she wasn't ready to give up. She would find another way, another angle, another person to manipulate. Freedom was within her grasp, and she would stop at nothing to seize it. But Luna's gambit came with a devastating risk that she had not fully anticipated. The brutal beating she had orchestrated to prove her vulnerability had unintended consequences. In the days following the attack, Luna began to experience sharp pains in her abdomen, a gnawing fear settling in her gut. At first, she dismissed it as stress, a natural response to the trauma of the assault. But the pains grew worse, accompanied by faint spotting that sent her into a panic. Alone in her cell, she clutched her belly, whispering apologies to her unborn child. "I'm sorry," she murmured, tears streaming down her face. "I didn't mean for this to happen. Please, be okay." When the pains became unbearable, Luna was rushed back to the infirmary. "Doctor." Kessler's face was grim as she performed an ultrasound, the silence in the room heavy with dread. Luna's heart pounded as she watched the doctor's expression, searching for any sign of hope. "Is my baby okay?" she asked, her voice barely audible. "Doctor." Kessler hesitated, her lips pressing into a thin line. "We're doing everything we can," she said, but her tone lacked conviction. For the first time, Luna's carefully constructed facade crumbled. The possibility of a miscarriage loss she had never truly considered loomed over her like a dark cloud, threatening to shatter her spirit. The fallout, regret, redemption, and reckoning. As news of Luna's condition spread, it sent shockwaves through the lives of those connected to her. Bill Spencer, Will's father and a titan of industry, was forced to confront his own role in Luna's imprisonment. Had he been too quick to judge her? Could he have done more to protect her and his unborn grandchild? The weight of his decisions pressed heavily on his conscience, stirring memories of his own past mistakes. Bill had always prided himself on his strength, his ability to make tough calls, but now he wondered if his hardness had cost him something irreplaceable. Will, too, grappled with his emotions. Despite his resolve to remain detached, the thought of losing his child filled him with a grief he hadn't anticipated. He replayed his conversation with Luna in his mind, her tearful pleas echoing in his ears. Had he been too harsh? Had his refusal to help pushed her to this desperate act, endangering the very life he claimed to care about? The possibility of a miscarriage forced Will to confront the complexity of his feelings for Luna, not love, perhaps, but a tangled mix of resentment, pity, and responsibility. For Luna, the uncertainty was a torment unlike any she had ever known. Lying in the infirmary, hooked up to monitors and surrounded by the sterile hum of medical equipment, she was forced to face the consequences of her actions. Her plan, born of desperation and hubris, had spiraled out of control, threatening the one thing she valued above all else, her child. In those quiet, agonizing moments, Luna made a silent vow. If her baby survived, she would change. She would fight not just for her freedom, but for redemption, for a chance to be the mother her child deserved. The cliffhanger: will Luna's baby survive? As the episode draws to a close, fans are left hanging on a knife's edge, desperate for answers. Will Luna's baby survive the trauma of her imprisonment, or will the miscarriage storyline deliver a devastating blow to her already fragile spirit? Will Bill and Will find a way to reconcile their guilt and take action to save Luna, or will their pride and skepticism keep them at arm's length? And what of Luna herself? Will her desperation push her to new lows, or will this crisis be the catalyst for her redemption? The Bold and the Beautiful writers have crafted a storyline that is as emotionally charged as it is unpredictable, tapping into the raw, primal fears of motherhood, loss, and survival. Luna's journey is a testament to the show's ability to blend high-stakes drama with deeply human emotions, keeping viewers glued to their screens week after week. As we await the next chapter in this heart-wrenching saga, one thing is certain: Luna's fight is far from over, and the consequences of her choices will reverberate through the lives of everyone she touches. So, what do you think, Bold and the Beautiful fans? Will Luna's baby survive? Or are we headed for a tragic twist that will change her story forever? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and let's keep the conversation going. We hope you enjoyed it and look forward to sharing more with you in the future. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe my channel for more updates on the Bold and the Beautiful.